Hey, Monica King here. So I came down to Rio Rico to inspect some colonies that were questioning the queen's laying patterns on. One big thing is that these two colonies were very low on bees, which is a problem. And it could be that it's because of the queens, but it also could be that they are getting robbed and the forage population is decreasing and unable to bring in then any resources. So he was feeding them sugar syrup, but not feeding them protein patties. And without having protein, they cannot raise brood and they will cannibalize it. So what we were seeing is a spotty shotgun pattern in the brood and no bees in the bottom box. So that was a double deep with no bees down below. They were utilizing only the upper box, so there's no guard bees watching the entrance, and they were likely getting some robbing. So it might be that it's not the queens, but he's still gonna change the queens out anyway. So quick question. I got stung in the nose here. So does this bee sting make my nose look big? I'm not gonna lie. It brought tears to my eyes. That was mean. I mean, that was like a low blow. So he has got one Africanized hive. We checked it before going over and looking at the Europeans. And of course, it is overcast today, as you can see by the window. And they were not too thrilled about us being in there. But it was about my only time I could come check. And now I'm on my way to Green Valley, and I'm going to pick up a colony from one of the hobbyists that's moving, and so she can't take the girls with her. Okay, so I had mentioned how the colony was small and how it was a double deep, but there was hardly any bees, if any, in the bottom box, and no guard bees at the entrance. And so right away, my thoughts definitely go to a forage population depletion. And with that, also the amount of water that is being brought in to assist with thermoregulation also goes bye-bye, because you don't have foragers of the right age to go get that water. And so your colony is decreasing and decreasing, and you have less of a supply of nurse bees, you have less a supply of those forage bees, you have those bees that are coming in and robbing, you're not feeding the protein supplement, and what about the water? So there's no water in the colony, and so basically no thermoregulation. Think about the temperatures that the hive can reach, especially when there's no shade. These colonies that were in question are in full sun. And so I mentioned in the past video that I did about overheating, about how even at 104 degrees that the brood can start to die, and as well as the queen can start to go sterile. And so there is a lot of things that come into play before you're starting to judge the queen. And that is, all of the things that I mentioned. And it's not just extreme heat. You could have cold in other parts of the country and experience the same thing with brood die-off. And so you're going in, and so as a small colony, you have to assist them. You have to assist them with not just sugar syrup for their carbohydrate, taking the place of the nectar, but also protein patty in place of the pollen that they're not able to go out and gather. And to fix it, you also should give them water in a fream feeder for the foragers that cannot go out to gather water, and that way they can strategically put that water in different places in the hive and do their thermoregulation. Also, thermoregulation is much more difficult to do in larger areas, as well as heating and cooling, that is more difficult to do. So you need to make sure that your colony is decreased to the size that they are capable of managing. On top of that, I didn't go into these bottom boxes. They could have already had some starting of waxworms, because the bees don't go and patrol those areas where they're not living. So there's all kinds of different things that come into play here. So this is just something that I saw on these inspections that I wanted to mention to other people in case you too are having some problems with your queens or maybe not. Maybe it's the entire superorganism having an issue, and the hive is out of balance, and thus the queen is not able to do everything she needs to do. And did I mention mites? Because you also could have mites, like parasitic mite syndrome. You can have a very genetic, you can have hygienic genetics, where they're pulling out questionable and uncapping the brood and pulling out dead bees. So basically there's all kinds of things that go into play. So the only time that I really judge a queen is if she's got everything else perfect and she's still not doing good. So that's my thoughts on this, and hope you enjoy. I've got some other really cool things coming up, so like and subscribe. Catch you later. Bye.